28 days later. Then it was 28 weeks later. And now we have 28 years later.
Dun, dun, dun. Are you into zombies? Then you should be watching these 28 years later, 28 days later, 28 weeks later. And I went back and watched 28 weeks later before I seen this. For some reason, a lot of the movies we've been reviewing lately, this is 28 years later that we're about to review. A lot of them have previous sequels. And I've been watching a lot of sequels. This past couple weeks, they just keep pumping them out. Just pumping them out.
What to do. Hey, let's throw another sequel on this one.
This one is pretty interesting. So this is rated R, an hour and 55 minutes. Jules, tell us who's starring in 28 years later.
Okay. It stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ray Fiennes, and Rocco Haynes.
I think he's Ralph Fiennes.
No, they pronounce it Ray Fiennes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've been calling him Ralph.
It's pronounced Ray. Ray.
Well, I just learned something new today that I didn't know I never knew. What's going on in 28 years later? It's kind of similar to the other two.
A group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors.
Okay.
So they're living on an island that has a causeway. So what that is a roadway that leads to the mainland, and then during the high tide, you can't travel on it because the current will push you past the island. So you have to wait till low tide to be able to travel on that causeway, and that really exists. It's a real thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me tell you with this one. I'll just be blunt. It was very boring to me. I love zombies. I love walkers. I want to see fighting. I want to see hordes after you. I want to see some conflict with other people who are trying to rule the world. I want to see all of that. And it seemed like it focused more on the relationships of the people as opposed to hordes or walkers. I wasn't expecting that. So I sat here the whole time watching this movie ready to fall asleep. Mind you, I had just watched 28 Weeks Later, which was, in my opinion, a lot better than this. More action going on in it. So I was expecting this one to be just as good. And there was just no fight. And I think that's the only thing they were really missing in here. And I was disappointed. What did you think, Jules?
Okay. I was disappointed for a different reason.
Okay.
It wasn't quite as boring to me, and the action shots with the zombies, ripping people's heads off. That was interesting, but it was too much flashing. So if like you're epileptic, and I'm not epileptic, but still it got to be too much for me sometimes, and I was
bothersome.
Like, okay, I got to close my eyes because it's just too much flashing, and
my eyes have started to hurt when I've seen that sometimes, to the point where you have to kind of like stop for a second.
Yeah, and it was like they inserted clips from like old timey like marching, soldiers marching and stuff like that, and kept repeating like what was over the loudspeaker when the soldiers were marching. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Like, I don't really get what this has to do with it. I really didn't. It was like they just threw in some extra stuff, in my opinion. Now, if you saw it, you know what that means. Let me know, because I was like, how is this really factoring in? I'm not really getting it. It's almost like, are you trying to hypnotize us or something? What are you trying to do?
What was the point? Because it's an hour and 55 minutes, and it really didn't have to be that long.
No, and all that flashing was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I went back and I watched 28 Weeks Later today, too. I'm like, because it's been a while. And I was like, did they do all that flashing in there? And no, they did not. And I really enjoyed that one. But it was just a little too much, in my opinion, with that kind of stuff, with some of the editing. And I do appreciate the fact that the film was primarily shot using an iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is what we're shooting on right now.
Wow. So we could really go shoot a movie on this.
We could shoot a movie right now.
It's been proven.
Apparently.
Many times.
Yeah, which makes this film the biggest feature-length movie to be shot on a smartphone. You can...
Makes sense.
It was really good, though. I appreciated that. I mean, the
shooting of it.
The shooting of it.
With the phone. Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Occasionally, you could see where it's like focusing, but I mean, it's part
of
like...
There was so much going on in there, though.
That you don't really notice it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was fantastic what the iPhone could do.
I think it's fantastic as well that you did a whole...
drones and everything, too, with it. Yeah.
Almost a 2-hour movie with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Talk about saving some money and doing something pretty unique. I mean, I know there have been several people who have shot with iPhones, you know, with all the technology and everything that keeps coming out on the phones every year. But I mean, wow, I think this might be the first movie I watched this long that was shot on a cell phone. That's pretty impressive.
You were saying that you got bored with it because of the acting with the relationships. But some people, I know I saw like another critic talking about it on TV yesterday, and she was like, it was really touching and emotional, and I cried during that part.
Oh, wow.
I did not cry.
I didn't feel that.
I know what part she's talking about. I did not cry, but the acting was good because you got Ray Fiennes. Come on.
Yeah.
And Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Jodie Comer, they're all great actors. So the acting was fantastic, but it didn't really stand up to the other 28
It didn't.
years and days that we were used to, in my opinion. I mean, it kind of did. The zombies kind of did, but it was.
It's like
It was almost artsy fartsy or something. I don't know.
To give you an example, I watched The Last of Us, and I freaking love it.
I love The Last of Us too.
It's a video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that because I don't play video games.
Yeah. Me too.
But in that one, they use personal relationships, so you know the character development is in there. But then there's also lots of hordes that they have to fight with, so they have a nice balance on that show. So when I see something like this, I know they can do it. We've seen zombie movies where they can do it, but they just didn't in this one. And I guess it's because they wanted to focus more on personal relationships, I guess. I don't know, but it just wasn't thrilling for me.
What I told my son is, I really like the end, and I know, I'm like, if you see it, I think you're really going to like the end. And I felt like they should have used more of that part with those characters that they had at the very end.
Weave them in there.
I was hoping to see them earlier, too. I mean, because they mentioned a certain person's name in the very beginning, and I was hoping that we'd figure out who that was closer than we did. And I think we needed more of that.
Instead of some of the stuff that wasn't necessary to even be in the film at all. It just kind of like wasted time.
It's like they tried to really go for the cinematography over
and it just
the story
just didn't feel like. You guys remember you had 2 movies before that had all this action in it, and then it's kind of what happened. So for me, I have to be honest, I'm giving this a 2.5 clappers. It just didn't do it for me. Just wasn't thrilled whatsoever. I wasn't even entertained.
I agree. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 2.5 as well.
Yeah.
The last little note you have here is, originally the follow-up was set to be titled 28 Months Later, continuing with the movie's timeline set title motif. However, after so much time had passed since visiting this world in 2007, 28 weeks later, it was deemed more appropriate to name the film 28 Years Later. I feel like they still could have did 28 months later. And I would like to see if they were working on a cure, because
that's a long time.
Yeah, because
that's
remember they had the boy and the girl or whatever, and that the brother and the sister, and 28 weeks later, and I know she loved her brother, but still, she know he got bit, and even though he could still talk and stuff, she should have left his little butt behind, because now she tried to kill the whole world. She tried to kill France at least. You know, they were in Paris. Everybody started going crazy in Paris because she had to bring her brother along. And I think they killed the pilot too, the helicopter pilot. They really didn't show, but
I think it could have been. I think they should have went on and named it 28 Weeks Later. That's just, and it's been 2007. We're in 2025 now. That's such a long gap.
It's a long gap, but I wanted to see, like I said, they could have did something with that, with like, are they working on a cure? Especially since in this movie they do mention what's going on outside of the area. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much, but they mentioned something about it. I wanted to see more.
After 28 years, you should see. After 28 years, you should see some more progress.
Can we see what's going on outside of this area real quick, briefly? You know, are they trying to make a cure for this? Where is it all? I think they did show on a map like where it's hidden, but again, they were flashing so much that sometimes I was like,
A little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, and then the characters, again, at the end, they were fun, and I would like to have seen more of that, and maybe they're going to have another 128 weeks later. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
That would be sooner than 28.
Our popcorn meter.
Years later, though, so.
Popcorn meter is only giving us 65%. That's us. That's kind of in tune with what we're saying now. The tomato meter is 89%. This tomato meter is all over the place today.
The emotional.
What is going on? They like the emotional connection stuff.
Artistic, cinematography,
relationships
stuff,
between the characters. They want to see those develop. See, I want to see some gore.
Yeah, if you're going
that's
to
just
see
it.
a movie about zombies and it's one of these 28 weeks, 28 days later thing, you were expecting a certain thing.
Zombies.
I was disappointed. Yes. I was let down.
That sums it up.
They could have just did so much more.
That sums it up. And now please don't make another one. Let's just let it ride out.
To me, at the end, there's no end credit scene. I'm just talking about the end of the movie, but there's no mid or end credit scene, so don't worry about that. But it looked like at the end,
there's always that possibility.
Yeah.
But with these scores, I don't know. The people aren't too much feeling it, so I don't know. Well,
they did a little too much.
Go check it out yourself, and you tell us what you thought about it. If you've seen the other ones, or at least the one before, the 28 weeks later, let us know what you thought. Mm-hmm. Is there something I'm missing? Is that why I was so bored? Am I missing something that could have excited me a little while? I don't think so, but let us know what you thought. This is what we do this for. We want to know what you think. We're doing this for you. So tell us. Well, there you have our review of 28 years later. Uh-huh. Don't forget that Jules and I, we are first and foremost on Cash App. We pay for our own equipment, our hardware, our software, all of our movies. We pay for all that ourselves. So anything you would like to donate is truly appreciated. You'll see our Cash App tag right in here. And let me tell you where else you can find us. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And we're also on Instagram. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. Hey, is there a movie you want us to review that you haven't seen yet? Let us know what the movie is. It doesn't matter what genre it's from. We'll review the show and shout you out on the show. We'll review the movie and shout you out on the show. All right? So let us know. Chat with us. All right? Hope to see you back soon. And thank you very much for staying tuned to our reviews. Gotta Be Real movie reviews with Thommi. That's me and Jules. Signing out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.